The mornings always began the same. He woke to the sound of distant traffic and the faint smell of dust in his small room. The mattress sagged, the paint on the walls was cracked, and sometimes rainwater found its way through the roof. Still, he rose before dawn, because hope was a fire that refused to go out. By day, he labored. Some days it was carrying bricks on construction sites, other days sweeping the floors of a shop that paid just enough for bread and transport. His hands were rough, his clothes faded. But in his chest he carried a heart still tender, still waiting for love. When his work was done, he would walk past the parks and cafes where couples sat together. He saw men in pressed suits buying flowers, sliding gold bracelets across the wrists of smiling women. A shadow of envy sometimes crossed his face, but it never stayed long. He whispered to himself, "One day, not yet, but one day." At night, he sat under a flickering street lamp with his notebook, a battered thing with pages smudged by rain. He wrote letters to the woman he hadn't met yet. "I don't have riches to give you now," one entry read, "but I will build with my hands, strive with my soul, and one day, everything I own will be ours." Some nights, hunger gnawed at him. He would pass bakeries where warm bread glowed in the windows, but he only had enough for the simplest meal. Still, he smiled at the scent, promising himself that someday he would buy 2 loaves. One for himself, and one for her. Not all days were heavy. There were little victories that stitched hope together. Like the afternoon when an old woman selling oranges dropped her basket in the street, and he rushed to help. She pressed one orange into his palm as thanks. He ate it slowly, savoring it as if it were a feast. Or the day he found a discarded book of poetry in the market trash heap, its cover torn, but its words alive. He read it over and over, letting the verses remind him that love is not bought, but felt. And sometimes, when the evening wind carried the scent of flowers from far-off gardens, he would close his eyes and imagine her beside him, the woman who would not laugh at his worn shoes or turn away from his empty pockets. She would sit with him under the stars, her hand in his, and see him not for what he lacked, but for what he carried within. Every struggle carved strength into him. Every small victory lit a lantern in the dark. His journey was not finished, but he was walking it faithfully, step by step, believing that someday, love would meet him halfway. And when it did, he would be ready, not with wealth, but with a soul that had been tasted, and a love that had already endured the fire of waiting.